Year two here in the St. Vincent Center. There are always things happening here with Kevin Pritchard. And Kevin, you kept your continuity with the 7 guys who played the most minutes back. But 3 key off-season additions, 3 veterans joined this team.
Well, I think that decision process really started with Corey and Thad. They opted in, and that gave us the top 7 in terms of minutes played. And I really wanted some continuity, or we wanted some continuity. Felt like that was super important. And then we wanted to look at the playoffs and watch what was succeeding and what wasn't. And I felt like shooting, toughness, and one more playmaker. And shooting, obviously, Doug McDermott. Playmaking, Tyreek Evans. He's a tough matchup one-on-one to give us another creator. And then Kyle O'Quinn, I mean, he is tough. He's an elite shot blocker. And we felt like we need a little bit more enforcer inside, especially off the bench with that second unit. So those were the 3 things we were looking at.
And with that, you developed the culture from a year ago. I think the locker room was as good as I've ever seen it.
Yeah.
Yet you also have a lot of guys in their final year of a contract. So how do you address that?
Well, I think you talk to the players. You know, the one thing we've said, we spent a lot of time with the players individually, and then we talked to our coaching staff. And I think one of the biggest things when you go into a year with so much free agency on their minds is that everybody has to sacrifice. You see teams, Houston have a great year, and yet everybody benefits from that. And so for us, it's talking about sacrifice. And last year we had a team that made ultimate sacrifices. Al Jefferson came in, 3rd team All-NBA a few years ago, and he comes in, he's on our 3rd team, and yet he had this major impact on our team because he was so positive and he accepted his role. And so we talked about the roles with every player, but they have to make the sacrifice on the court.
You mentioned 3rd team All-NBA. That's what Victor Oladipo was. He was the most improved player in the league, 1st team All-Defense. A year ago, we were sitting here not knowing what Victor would become. What has he become, and what can he become?
Well, he's become a very, very good basketball player. I almost used the word great right there, but I've talked to him. I think the good players can do it every single night. The great players do it every single night, and they do it for their teammates as well. And Victor cares about his teammate. You see what he did in Miami this summer and bringing everybody together. In his leadership, he's taken another step. There's no doubt about it. And I think he can be great this year. I think he can do it for other players. And his teammates love him, and they love playing with him. So that's the big difference is I want to see him do it for others.
5th in the East last year, projected at many people top 4, but some people have you in the Eastern Conference as low as 6, 7, or 8.
Right.
How do you see the East, and how do you use that as motivation to get back to the playoffs and win in the first round?
Well, you know, every single year you can always use bulletin board material. There's always somebody that has you too low and somebody maybe has you too high. I think what we really try to worry about is what we control every single day is how we attack getting ready for 82-game season. So our guys are super positive. We've got a good culture. Again, I can feel that already. It has to translate onto the court. You know, you can lose games in the locker room. I don't know if you could win games in the locker room because you still got to go do it. And we're at that point where we've got a good locker room and we've got to go do it.
Final question, Kevin. What did you learn about yourself last year going through what you did after making the major trade, having the team perform so well? And what has that done for you here as you start year 2 with the Pacers?
Boy, I think probably the big thing is you have to drown out the noise. You know, we made a big trade, and the pundits have their opinions, and you just do the best you can with what you're given, and you drown out the noise and let the team speak. You know, for me, it was a great year because lowered expectations, and then we end up making the playoffs and doing well in the playoffs, although I felt like we could have done a little bit better. You just got to stay calm waters, you know. It's just you make your best decisions, you do your best to be prepared for those decisions, and then you let it play out.
I know Pacers fans are excited about the year. Best of luck.
Thank you, Chris.